Good afternoon. I want to start by welcoming everybody here. First and foremost, our graduates. You can wave. Your families, your friends, our esteemed faculty, our staff. I also want to recognize the chair of our Board of Counselors, Sherry Thorell, who's going to be our commencement speaker today, and Ms. Tracy Sykes, a USC trustee who's joining us today. Thank you. So, this is the 2023 commencement. I have to be honest and say that when I joined USC, pretty much was the first time I heard the word commencement in the context of graduation. It took me a while to figure out why are we celebrating commencing rather than finishing this wonderful phase in your life. But this is what this moment is. It's the beginning of the rest of your lives, the rest of your careers. It's a time to celebrate, and I'm overjoyed to be here and share that moment with you. As we take in this beautiful day and setting, and could it be more beautiful, I want to point out that the fountain next to us is fittingly called Generations. It's dedicated to all Trojan families and their legacies. The sculpture and its message perfectly capture what gerontology is all about, a commitment to improving how we live and age today and for generations to follow. With over 200 graduates representing many states and countries, you, the class of 2023, are our largest graduating class ever, which is a phrase that I take incredible pleasure in saying every year, and I certainly hope I'll say it again next year, but you are the largest graduating class ever. Whether you earned your bachelor degree, your master's, or your doctoral degree, in choosing the USC Leonard Davis School, you invested in more than an education. You are invested in making life better for people of all ages, and I know you will continue our school's tradition of service, innovation, and success. As a group, you represent the future of a field that is full of promise. I believe the next decade will see us turn back our biological clocks, prevent and delay disease, and live fuller, healthier lives. And I'm counting on each of you to get us there. Working across disparate fields, you'll be the leaders who see to it that we eat the right foods, take the right medications, live in the right homes and communities, get the care we receive and deserve, have the services that everybody needs provided, come up with the technologies that will improve our health and our longevity, and together build a new way to age. Our distinguished faculty have taught you to advance discoveries in disease prevention and health promotion, advocate for age-friendly policies and services, and work towards a more just and equitable society. Imparting their lessons will become your legacy, and I look forward to living in the future you will create for us. Thank you for all the parents, family members, and friends for supporting our graduates. Thank you again for being here today. Congratulations, and fight on. I would like to now introduce our student speaker, Davis Lee, who will give the commencement address on behalf of the student body.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Hello, USC Leonard Davis School of Gerontology, class of 2023. My name is Davis Lee, and I'm so honored to be speaking to you today as the president of the Student Gerontology Association and as a fellow member of this year's graduating class. I want to thank all the deans, faculty, staff, and all of our loved ones here today for supporting us throughout this journey, and a special thank you to my family. I couldn't have done it without you guys. My time here as a gerontology student has been a unique and rewarding experience. Unique because we gerontology students have chosen a major quite different from most of our peers. I will never forget a time during my freshman year when I was explaining my major to someone, and I was explaining that it was gerontology, the study of aging. She was so shocked that USC had a whole school dedicated in the aging of wine and cheese. But it is misunderstandings like this that make majoring in gerontology that much more rewarding, because it underscores the special opportunity we all have to educate our communities and advocate for the importance of older adults. The lessons we learn in the classroom are more than just theories. They not only equip us with tools that we can use to help others, but they also teach us life lessons that we can use for the rest of our lives. It has taught me the importance of social networks as you age, that it is never too late to embrace your friends and to invest stronger in the people you love. It has taught me the importance of resilience, that no matter what situation, your attitude alone can help you fight on. It has taught me the importance of savoring each moment. Time will never slow down for us, but we can choose to make the most out of every moment. And lastly, it has taught me the importance of not being afraid of the future, that it's okay to grow, change, and in today's case, graduate. Class of 2023, as we enter the world and go on our different paths, remember the lessons that you learned here today. I promise you it will become the driving force behind whatever you do, and that it will be how you live the rest of your life. Whether you go on to become a doctor, a social worker, a nutritionist, or anything else your heart desires, illuminate those around you with your knowledge and passion. Even if we are far and few, we have the power to change our world to become a more age-friendly place. Thank you, and congratulations, class of 2023.
Thank you, Davis. And next, we've invited a very special person to address this year's graduates. She's been a longtime supporter of the school, a fierce advocate for advancing the field of aging through scholarship and research, and a close personal inspiration and friend to me. It is my distinct pleasure to now call to the podium someone I treasure as a fellow leader in the Leonard Davis School, a devoted member of the Gero family, a friend, and someone I deeply admire, Sherry Thorell. Sherry is the chair of the Leonard Davis School of Gerontology Board of Counselors, founder of ST Enterprises, and a half-century Trojan, who began working at USC as a freshman and stayed for the next 32 years, serving in a variety of positions in development and alumni relations. Sherry has always provided the school's leadership and me with excellent guidance and support. She also happens to be a gifted speaker with much wisdom to share, and it is again my pleasure to welcome here today, Sherry.
I feel so privileged to be among the first to congratulate our most recent graduates. When I think of what you've been through, who would have guessed that any of us would have lived through an era with a pandemic? I know that meant you had to find more resilience, more commitment, and more dedication just to be here today. So it's with deep respect that I congratulate you on reaching this milestone. You know, it was because of the very adversities that you faced that I was reluctant to accept the honor of being here today. Because you deserve someone very wise to be sharing with you. And even though they say wisdom comes with age, and I am certainly old, wisdom has yet to catch up with me. So with apologies, I'm going to share words with you that have been an inspiration for my entire life. They were written by Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, "Do not follow the well-worn path. Rather, make your own path and leave a trail." But what does it take to make your own path? It takes courage. Courage to try, fail, and keep trying. Courage to take a risk. Courage to overcome the inevitable obstacles. Courage to stay the course. But what drives courage? Fear. And I'm going to suggest, don't be afraid to be a little afraid each time you make your own path. Because if you are not just a little afraid, you are not striving hard enough. You are not reaching far enough. You are not developing to your full potential. So don't be afraid to be a little afraid. After all, what can fear do? One of two things, your choice. It can immobilize you, or it can put all of your senses on high alert. You think more clearly, you are laser focused, you are more discerning and critical in your analysis. You are trying and you keep trying, and it's the trying that becomes courage. So don't be afraid to be a little afraid. And along the path that you make, I wish you love. Romantic love, yes, but also a love for what you are doing. After all, you've selected a field that is still in its pioneering phase. If you think about universities having been created in the 11th century, and gerontology as a field is younger than I am. So what you are doing is laying the foundation for the future of the field. Never before in the history of humankind have there been so many long-lived adults, which means so many challenges to solve, and you are creating new knowledge. This is not a job, it's a passion. It reminds me of something that Dr. James H. Zumberg, a former USC president, told me once. He said, "Sherry, at the end of your life, if you can look back and say that you were engaged in a noble endeavor, it will have all been worthwhile." And I believe that you are engaged in a noble endeavor. And also on your path, take time to nurture family. That's relatives, close friends, and your Davis School family. Stay close. Be the first one in your family for generations to follow that are engaged at the Davis School. In our family, there's been 4 generations of us who are engaged here, 3 currently. And when the time is right in your life, be sure to make it possible for someone else to be sitting right where you are today. Thank you. Fight on.
Did you notice how Sherry gave this speech with no notes and with such inspiration? And she's always my role model. Sherry, thank you, not just for today. And now it's time to recognize our graduates.
Bachelor of Science in Human Development and Aging. Lois Albert Angelo. Marikar Sarah Borja. Nile Desai. Elizabeth Annabella Esquivel. Jack Goldman. Shiva Hajati. Farissa Irome. Davis Lee. Kevin Lee. John Lochtefeld. Miley Saito. Nisha Shankar. Samantha Sparacino. Fareed Tommy Keely Taheri. Bachelor of Science in Lifespan Health. Jillian Bora Park. Maurice Rozo. Sabrina Zaze. Master of Arts in Long-Term Care Administration. Chris Brannon. Stephanie Knott. Master of Arts in Aging Services Management. Alexis Baez Pecoraro. Ken Chang. Lee Yu Leona Chang. Chen Yu Chen. Yun Yi Chen. Uriel Correa Sedano. Yanan Fu. James Hill Jr. Erica Shaw. Chu Ting Xiao. Gregory Lechtenberg. Alwin Yen Ye Lee. Kevin Shimoda Lee. Zhi Qi Liang. Ying Ling. Jia Yin Liu. Cassandra Moan. Yamalex Razo. Deborah Santiesteban. Meng Xuan Shan. Ying Hao Song. Yu Tong Tian. Ziyang Wang. Pei Zhou Wu. Jia Cheng Yao. Hongge Zhang. Chi-Wing Melody Zhang. Chuan Zhang. Qian Zheng. Michael Anthony Zuleta. Master of Arts in Senior Living Hospitality, Mingmei Gao. Jessica Hong. Yuxing Nie. Sukulia Tong Plakao. Hao Ran Zhang. Shu Jing Zhang. Master of Arts in Medical Gerontology, Elizabeth Cruz. Sarah Elmashot. Janice Emanuela. Darius Moedelli. Bilal Zatiti. Master of Arts in Gerontology, Malcolm Epps. Alexandra Gleistein. Clifford Grant. Seon Kim. Emily C. Solorzano. Chayapon Tatakian. Zhu Xingzhang. Master of Science in Gerontology, Cameron Brown. Liang Chi Chen. Megan Kim Duong. Zhe Yue Fu. Kiana Mireya Hernandez. Chi Yuan Huang. Lindsay Holsabus. Trinity Natalia Jun. Lindsay Klebano. Nicole Leon. Wen Tao Lee. Jiawin Wendy Liu. Daobo Ma. Zachary Chan Miller. Karen Janet Montez.
Enfal Safford Mercy.
Jennifer and Nikki Fortune. Giselle Silva. Fei Yu Wang. Yu Chi Wu. Joy Shu. Nan Zeng. Hao Long Jiang. Master of Science in Lifespan Nutrition and Dietetics, Sharon Huang. Master of Science in Nutrition, Health Span, and Longevity, Rachel Arnold. Karina Victoria Castillo. Ines Ime Cheng. Karina Chow. Ava Coles. Sophia Deal. Jessica Jung. Brittany Kwong. Janice Lee. Kate Lepre. Alexandra McLean. Taylor Mallory. Morgan Mattia Mahale. Esmeralda Pelayo Co. Justin Purr. Ashley Porterfield. Emily Simpson. Callie Spooner. Lauren Sutherland. Elizabeth Laureen Von Clan. Yue Xiong.
So at this point, I want to acknowledge that over the last few years, have presented many challenges related to COVID, and a few of our students were not able to participate in graduation ceremonies the year they graduated, so we're giving them an opportunity to do so now.
Cecilia Jingyi Lau. Chei Ting Ling. Yun Shao Ma. Amelia Mulia.
Jing Yao Zhu.
At this point, I want to introduce Vice Dean Sean Curran, who will oversee the hooting ceremonies. And I also want to thank Sean for all the wonderful things that he does for the school.
Good afternoon. So at this point in our program, we're going to celebrate the tremendous accomplishments of 12 scholars, each that has made independent and novel research findings over their past few years of study. Each of them has made these research contributions to advance our knowledge and understanding of the world around us, and this is what's qualified them for the attainment of the PhD. Now, the pomp and circumstance you've witnessed today as we processed up onto the stage actually has a deeper meaning that's embedded within all of the regalia that you see each of us wearing. This academic regalia has roots in ancient Greece. Today, that word academia is associated with those who respond to the call of higher education and research, a call that each of you has answered and we recognize today. Now, the significance of the hood that you'll see each of the mentors present to their PhD candidates actually has higher meaning itself. The colors of each of those doctoral hoods is meaningful as symbols in their own right. The two colors that you'll see in each of them reflects, one, the subject matter that was studied. So for example, if you see dark blue, that represents a Doctor of Philosophy. Our Dean, Hassi Cohen, has green for his degree in medicine. And the second color reflects the institution that conferred the degree. And then lastly, there's a narrative from medieval times that describes the nature of the three chevrons that you'll see on the sleeve of each of the doctoral robes. As legend has it, those three stripes stand for the three pillars of doctoral scholarship: academic curiosity, academic honesty, and academic courage. So today, these 12 scholars receiving their doctoral hoods join the rank of academics around the world. Each of them has persevered, having to perform new research and having those research findings published in a peer-reviewed journal, each of which had to be held to the highest standards and meet the scrutiny of experts from around the world. Many of them have presented their research at national and international conferences, but mostly all of them have contributed to our understanding of the complex challenges that face an aging population. It is important to remember that the academy that each of you joins today does not have walls, it doesn't have boundaries, and is not specific to any geographic location. But each of these PhD joins us today in a worldwide community of scholars that is dedicated to the pursuit of truth, knowledge, and all through research. Some time ago, each of you answered the call to pursue higher education. Today, the faculty of the Leonard Davis School of Gerontology at the University of Southern California congratulate you on the achievement of the rank of Doctor of Philosophy, and we welcome you as equal colleagues. Please join me in recognizing all of them now. Because of the tremendous effort that goes into getting a PhD, each faculty mentor will tell you a brief synopsis of what each student has done. The first program that is going to award PhDs today is from the Biology of Aging program. This is actually the first program of its kind that was initiated as a collaboration between the Buck Institute in Novato, California, and the Leonard Davis School of Gerontology. Now, this happened about 10 years ago when the leadership of both the School of Gerontology and the Buck came together and decided that really there is a need in the field and in the world to have this type of education. The Buck was actually the perfect partner for this endeavor because actually we share a deeply rooted relationship with them for over 30 years. In fact, University Professor Caleb Finch and Dean Emeritus Ed Schneider were among the panel of gerontologists that helped conceive the idea of the Buck, and even Dean Emeritus Schneider served as the CEO for a brief time while that campus was being built. Now, over the past decade, this PhD program has sent graduates to postdoctoral fellowship positions in academia and industry, where they continue to advance the study of aging. These remarkable graduates have studied all facets of biology, ranging from biochemistry, molecular biology, cell biology, neuroscience, all with the goal of getting a better understanding of the aging process. It has truly been a pleasure to watch each of these trainees succeed, and I look forward to what each of them accomplishes in the future. And so with that, I'm going to introduce Dr. Kai Zhao, who will hood his PhD trainee, Matthew Domnow.
It's really my pleasure to introduce my student, Matt Domnow. So I'm lucky to have Matt as my first student in my lab, and Matt really demonstrated his creativity and resilience and productivity throughout the past 5 years in my lab. It's great pleasure to watch him to mature as a scientist, as scholar, and a peer, and colleagues of mine. So many of you guys probably don't know that doing a doctor degree and commit yourself 5 years to a program to really do the cutting-edge research take a lot of courage and a lot of try and error and failure and success and turns and turns. Matt is one of the students I ever met that never really, being defeated by any of the failures in experiment that ever through the 5 years. And oftentimes, there's me who feel that I need to comfort him since not working well, but he's the one that's so chill to move on with all these efforts. So that all together really contribute to his really successful PhD research that discovered a very novel response to the stress that cells endure in the wild and in the lab. And that led him to publish his first author paper in the top journals in the field. Even in his third year, really before his qualified exam. So that's really a remarkable achievement. Over the 5 years, Matt developed his own philosophy in research and problem solving. I think to me, that's the key factor, one of the key factors to getting a PhD degree. So congratulations, Matt. And I think we should now call him Dr. Donauer from now.
Doctor of Philosophy in Biology of Aging, Matthew Domnauer.
So next, I'm going to introduce my dear colleague, Dr. John Newman, who will introduce the next student.
Thank you. And it's my pleasure to introduce the first PhD student from my own laboratory, Dr. Brenda Eep. I am so proud of what Dr. Eep has accomplished in the last 4 years in understanding for the first time how a very fundamental, basic metabolic process that happens in all of us changes as we age and differs between the sexes, leading her to understand how it differently affects healthy longevity between males and females using healthy aging mice as a model. I am so proud of you, Dr. Eep. And over the 4 years that we've worked together, I've come to really deeply admire your creativity, your drive, your dedication to equity in research, and your leadership among your peers and your colleagues, both at the Buck Institute for Research on Aging and at the University of Southern California. So it's my great pleasure to share this honor with you today, Dr. Eep, and with your family.
Brenda Eep.
And next, I'd like to introduce my friend and colleague from the Buck Institute and USC, Dr. Lisa Ellerby.
Hi, it's my great pleasure to introduce my PhD student, Carlos Galicia. He is absolutely amazing. He's been a wonderful colleague. I would say that what I would want to have in a graduate student, he exemplifies. He loves science, he loves communication, he loves collaborating, and he loves finding new discoveries in science. Carlos did his PhD on understanding how the brain ages and understanding how to find new therapeutics for rare neurological diseases such as Huntington's disease. He does bioinformatics. He does it all. He's amazing. So I want to congratulate him and have Carlos come up.
Carlos Galicia.
It's my pleasure to introduce my colleague, Sean, who is going to tell us about our next candidate, which is Angelina Holcomb.
So Angelina did her PhD studies in Gordon Lithgow's lab, but unfortunately he couldn't be here today, but gave me a statement to read on his behalf. So the whole Lithgow and Anderson lab at the Buck are proud and delighted to see Angelina being honored today. Angelina was born in Hawaii and received her bachelor's degree in biology from the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Angelina has made a tremendous contribution to our understanding of the toxicity of proteins that are associated with Alzheimer's disease and the relationship between Alzheimer's disease and aging. Using a tiny nematode worm, C. elegans, she's discovered very early life impacts of toxic proteins on metabolism as well as fertility. Described by one of the Bucks faculty as the landmark study, Angelina has undertaken a systems analysis to generate a vast amount of data that will lead to a highly significant series of publications and many new research directions for the lab. She's a wonderful colleague, collaborator, and has contributed so much to the social and scientific environment of the program. Many congratulations from all of us. We are so honored that you chose to spend time with us in this program. Please join me in congratulating Angelina.
Angelina Holcomb.
Our next PhD student did his PhD in Rachel Brem's lab. Rachel also couldn't be here today, but gave me a statement to read. So Tay's thesis work focused on cellular senescence. This is the tendency of older cells under stress to release a cocktail of molecules that can drive inflammation and aging. Tay's experiments showed us that mice have diversified across the globe over thousands of years of evolution, and that different species actually evolved different senescence programs. And then sifting through this variation in senescence, Tay discovered a new gene that controls the molecular events of senescence, kind of turning them up and down like a volume knob. A paper that reported Tay's results was just published last week, which is actually a perfect capstone for his graduation. So Tay's now putting his PhD skills to work as a bioinformatics scientist at Genomic Testing Cooperative in Irvine. Congratulations to Tay, and please join me in congratulations, Dr. Kang.
Tay Q. Kang.
Now I'll hand it over to Professor Christian Pike.
Good afternoon. I'm very proud to introduce you today to Dr. Jiahui Liu. Jiahui is an exceptional scientist. She's very skilled in her technique. She's been creative in her experimental designs, very thorough in her analyses. Perhaps more important, she's just really a wonderful person. She's been a tremendous colleague to everybody in the laboratory. Jiahui's work as a doctoral student focused on obesity, and we know that obesity drives a lot of age-related diseases. She focused specifically on the brain, where we know obesity accelerates cognitive decline and is a risk factor for Alzheimer's. We don't know how that works. So Jiahui focused in on a specific immune-like cell in the brain called a microglia and on a little factor called TLR4. What she did is she created a new genetically engineered mouse where she could selectively turn off this TLR4 only in the microglia, and when she did that, she blocked all the negative effects of obesity on the brain, which is really a significant finding with great therapeutic implications. So very well-deserved doctoral work. Thank you, Joey.
Jiahui Liu.
So it's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Murray Jacobson, who is the chair of the Gerontology PhD program, which was the first also, and the oldest program that focuses on gerontology in the world.
Thank you. So before we present and hood our amazing set of candidates, I just wanted to tell you very briefly about our PhD in Gerontology program. It began more than 3 decades ago, and as Sean mentioned, was the first doctoral program in gerontology in the world. It has since grown to have both a national and international reputation as the preeminent institution for advanced training in gerontology. Our students and faculty engage in innovative, multidisciplinary work at the forefront of aging research. And aging is a complex phenomenon that presents a set of unique opportunities and challenges for both individuals and society. As such, aging research requires complementary training across many fields, and all our gerontology PhD students take core courses in psychology, sociology, biology, and the policy of aging. As such, our students complete their PhD training with the unique ability to incorporate multidisciplinary thinking and models in research on aging. They are trained to truly be leaders in aging research. Today, you will see the excellence of our PhD training in both the breadth of research topics of our newly minted PhDs and their many notable accomplishments during their time here at USC. And so now I'd like to welcome my colleague, Kate Wilbur, who will be introducing our first PhD recipient.
Hello and congratulations to all of you. I am so pleased and proud to share a few highlights of Liz Avent's accomplishments. And joining me will be a co-mentor. This is often a group endeavor, and so Zach Asumas has worked very closely with Liz as well. He'll be helping hooding. It's very hard to keep my remarks short. I will do my best, but Liz has excelled in research, teaching, and leadership. When she arrived at USC, she already had a background in elder mistreatment, which is what she focused on. She assisted on a number of our projects. A highlight was she applied for and was awarded a very competitive National Institute on Aging diversity supplement to study elder mistreatment and late life intimate partner violence. Her dissertation focuses on adverse childhood experiences effects on late life elder abuse, cognitive impairment, and caregiver health. Liz, in terms of teaching, was a little bit afraid, but here's how she dealt with it. She volunteered to speak to classes, to community groups, at conferences, and finally ended up co-teaching a course, and she To her surprise, she liked it, and not to our surprise, she aced it, she excelled. With that, she's also had important leadership roles in student government, co-leading the student PhD roundtable, and actively supporting activities and action to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I'm very happy to say that Liz is now on her way to the Windy City, Chicago, for an NIA-sponsored postdoctoral program at the University of Chicago. So that's a great achievement and capstone. So congratulations.
Doctor of Philosophy in Gerontology, Elizabeth Shamir Avent.
And now I want to welcome my colleagues Susan and Guidinos.
I have to say that I am very honored today to be presenting 3 outstanding doctoral candidates. In addition, 3 outstanding individuals that will be sorely missed. The first candidate is Valeria Cardenas, and her dissertation focused on a very under-researched, under-studied population, which was Hispanics with serious illness. Her studies illuminated the dearth of research that has been conducted on Hispanics at end of life. And it also filled the gap in that research by examining some of the challenges and facilitators to engaging in serving these populations during their serious illness. Valet is very passionate about her research and driven to improve care for serious ill Hispanics. Her list of accomplishments exceeds the time I have today, but let me highlight just a few. Valet published 7 peer-reviewed manuscripts, 4 of which were first authored. She has another 2 first authored manuscripts under review right now. She has been very, very productive. Most recently, she received a dissertation grant from NIH. It's a very prestigious grant that recognizes not only the value of her research, but the value of her as a researcher. So I look forward to working with her in the future as a peer and continuing to collaborate in the future, and I know she's going to have amazing contributions to science. So let me present Dr. Cardenas.
Valeria Cardenas.
The next student I want to recognize is Olivia Wang. Olivia came to USC with a degree in clinical psychology, and that really provided a great lens for her research. She brought that clinical lens into the research she conducted. The first thing she did on getting here was she got a research grant from the Ministry of Education in Taiwan to support her dissertation research. And she focused on investigating patient and caregiver perspectives on new policies on advanced care planning that were being implemented in Taiwan. So this was really a timely policy-based research. Next thing you know, she's stuck in Taiwan during COVID, and she turned this into an opportunity to lead subsequent study focused on caregivers and healthcare providers' perspectives on home-based palliative care during different periods of the pandemic. And this was really the first study to examine the changing healthcare system for people with serious illness that occurred during the pandemic. During her time at USC, she presented 8 conference papers and posters and published 3 peer-reviewed manuscripts. So I'd like to extend my congratulations to Dr. Wang.
Yuxuan Olivia Wang.
And finally, I'm presenting Fisher Chiu, and his dissertation was a compilation, I can't even talk, very innovative and novel research that was really focused on advancing the field by examining advanced care planning and how it impacts both quality of life and the patient perspective, specifically their out-of-pocket costs, which was a very new method of looking at advanced care planning. So looking at how this affects people's wallets, which was very important. He's published 7 peer-reviewed manuscripts, 2 as first author, and another first-authored manuscript is under review. A primary strength of Fisher is his motivation to conduct rigorous research. During his time at USC, Fisher constantly saw opportunities to learn and advance his knowledge of research and in research methodology. From studying machine learning to conducting interviews on the streets of Hawaii, we spent a lot of time in dry cleaning and laundromats and grocery stores. He has really demonstrated commitment and dedication to research aimed at reducing ethnic disparities in end-of-life care and around advanced care planning. So I am very thrilled to present Dr. Chiu.
Yu Jun Ju.
I'm going to turn it back over to Sean.
Okay, so as you've probably gleaned from the titles of all of those PhDs, the study of gerontology is not only complex, but is multidisciplinary. And in fact, almost all of our faculty have joined appointments at other research units and other schools across the university. And so it's my pleasure today to hood 2 graduate students from my lab whose home department is in molecular and computational biology. So the first from my lab is Nicole Stewart. So she joined USC after receiving her bachelor's degree in biology from Concordia College and a master's degree in molecular and cell biology from LIU in Brooklyn. And my lab really focuses on diet-gene interactions, but for a decade, really we only focused on that genetic component. And when Nicole noticed that was missing is really a diversity of diets that we could feed to our genetic models to see what happens. And so Nicole described 3 new diets that we could use in our genetic paradigms. 2 of those diets could extend both lifespan and health span. And her most current work, which she's writing up, actually defines the neuronal circuits that help those animals choose one diet from another, despite whether it's good or bad for you in health as well as in lifespan. And Nicole's scientific discoveries really extend beyond her own personal research interests. In fact, she's helped several others in the lab bring their publications to publishing faster and certainly better than where they were before she was involved. She's presented her work at several meetings, including international meetings. The most recent, she was invited as a speaker to a meeting in Greece, and that talk was really well received. She received an individual F-31 fellowship from the National Institutes on Aging to fund her dissertation studies. And she's going to be leaving in a couple months to do a postdoctoral fellowship at Harvard Medical School with a joint appointment at the Broad Institute at MIT and Harvard, where she's going to be doing really cutting-edge research to improve human health. And beyond all of that work at the bench, she's really been a positive force and a really great component of the ethos of my lab. Really a great friend to everyone, a fierce competitor, and oftentimes victor in most of our lab competitions. But as I mentioned, really generous with her time, both as a lab citizen, as well as her talents in the lab and out, baking, games, and just good conversation. And so although she's going to be very deeply missed, it's really been an honor to be a part of her PhD journey. I'm incredibly proud of her. I can't wait to see all that she'll do. But please join me in a well-deserved congratulations to Nicole.
Doctor of Philosophy in Molecular Biology, Nicole Sturr.
Okay, so it's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Chris Turner, who completed their graduate studies in my lab, also a PhD program in molecular and computational biology. Chris joined USC after receiving their degree in cell molecular and developmental biology at the University of California in Riverside. It's notable that the entirety of Chris's PhD studies were funded by the NIH, first by a T-32, and then 3 full years with an individual F-31. Chris's work was a continuation of a really early discovery in my lab, where animals that have activation of this molecule called SKIN1 were incredibly resistant to stress and actually depleted fat stores really rapidly. And now, before you think, wow, that's great, you can deplete fat and be stress resistant, how do I do that diet? Those lipids are actually really important to maintain health over the lifespan. But we didn't know why this was happening or how. And Chris's work was essential as he discovered the molecular basis of those aging outcomes, learning, in fact, that all of that activation of those 2 molecules happened in only 2 neurons in the head of this animal. He additionally identified a genetic pathway outside of the nervous system, within the digestive system, that mediates all of those lifespan and health span responses. That's right. And perhaps one of the greatest contributions to the lab was their work on establishing single-cell transcriptomic approaches that really complemented our genetic work looking at the whole animal. So Chris's long-term goal is to become a professor at a primarily undergraduate teaching institution where they'll continue actually to do molecular genetics research, training the next generation of scientists both in the lab and in the classroom, and I'm confident that they're going to be amazing at that, and all of those students are going to benefit from their excellence. So, alas, please join me in acknowledging all of the great discoveries that Chris has made. I'm excited to see what they do next, so please join me in congratulating Dr. Chris Turner.
Chris David Turner.
Okay, you made it to the end. So all that's left is awards, which I don't want to minimize because all of the awardees are very deserving. The first award that we're going to present is called the Osterberg Award. This is named after Heinz Osterberg, who was the lab manager in University Professor Caleb Finch's lab from 1975 until 2005. He was a top-level chemist, an amazing mentor of bench skills to all the trainees that made it through Professor Finch's lab for 3 decades. Heinz actually passed away last year, April 6, 2022. Dolly, who is his longtime caregiver, actually still cares for his wife, Willie, and they were married for 65 years and known each other for 70 years. But the reason this is named after Heinz is that after he retired, a fund was established to award a PhD student that had demonstrated excellence in all of their PhD training, and that award was always to be made at commencement. This award alternates each year between the social sciences and the biological sciences, This year is being awarded to an outstanding gerontologist from the social science program, Val Cardenas. I think we have the award. And with that, I'd like to bring back Dean Hussey Cohen.
So a few more awards that I'll start reading out. The first is the Undergraduate Student Award that this year goes to Amar Darani. Also not attending today, but getting the Master's Student Award is James Cordenbrock. Congratulations to James. And the Doctoral Student Award this year goes to Juan Bravo, who's also not here today, but congratulations to Juan. We do have some people who came to get their awards. One of them is Nicole Stair again, who gets the Dean's Affiliate Doctorate Award. Nicole? The TA Award goes to Elizabeth Event this year. Elizabeth? And our final award is a faculty award that is voted on by the students, and this year goes to Rio Sanabria. So we're almost done. And before I conclude today's ceremonies, I want to give a big shout out and a major thank you to Maria Henke and all of her team, who makes everything seem so effortless and makes everything go so well, so we just can walk in and walk out, study and get our degrees. Maria, there you are. I also want to say one more time to our graduating class, whether you're getting a bachelor's, a master's, or a PhD, it's the beginning of your career, the next phase in your life, but please, don't forget where you came from. You're always going to be part of the Leonard Davis School family. You're always a Trojan. Keep us at the top of your mind. Follow us on whatever social media app you like. Put the Leonard Davis School on LinkedIn as your #1 item when people look at your profile, and stay connected to each other and to us. Good luck. Have a wonderful, wonderful summer, and I'll be looking to see all the wonderful things that you're doing. And thank you for all the faculty. Oh, and Please move tassel from right to left, which symbolizes the graduation. So we're going to have the faculty and our distinguished guests walk out first, and then we can all continue to celebrate.
These are expensive.
Oh, wait a second.
Yes.
No, wait a second. Let me give them to him.
Look.
This give him to him. This is really truly shows you're on your way to being a